everybody. Quiet, listen to me. We're going to start a show.
Okay, let's do this podcast thing that we do.
You sound very unsure. Are we going to do the podcast?
I'm recording it, so I guess.
You sound quite unsure.
I'm unsure of a lot of things in this life. We could die at any
How
day.
about that podcast?
Fine, whatever. I was trying to get all introspective here, but I guess it's not that kind of show. Anyway, welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. My name is JD. And that deafening silence is Kyle.
And I'm Andy.
There we go. Was that hard?
This is going to keep getting longer every week, isn't it?
Yep.
Christ. So, the Ink and Paint Club podcast is a weekly animation, talkery, bullshittery podcast in which, me, Andy, and Kyle talk about cartoons and all sorts of art things. It's mostly been TV shows and movies, but we'll get into, video games or comics in someday. I don't know. So, yeah, if at the end of the episode you enjoyed yourself and our ramblings, it'd be really cool if you like, comment, subscribe, and share this show with everybody so that more people can see it. That'd be really cool of you.
It beats watching people play video games.
Sure? Yeah. I mean, there is no visual component to this podcast, despite many people saying that there should be, but, I don't know. So, this week, in honor of something we talked about on the news show last week, Nickelodeon is making a TV channel that is dedicated exclusively to their 90s programming. So, in honor of that, Andy suggested that we talk about 90s Nicktoons.
Everyone loves those. It's the 90s.
I sure love that. I have many fond memories of that. So, I figured I've got the whole list of, all the Nicktoons for the 90s here. I figured we just go down the list and give our impressions quickly of, how we felt about them, or positively or negatively, I suppose.
They were all awful.
Them's fighting words.
Them's fighting herds?
No, that is callback references will not be allowed. The past is in the past, and that's where we're going to leave it.
Brutal.
Christ.
So anyway, I don't know if anyone knew this, but Nickelodeon had cartoons in the 90s.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Nickelodeon decided they wanted to, get in on that animation business after, years of just doing live-action game shows and sitcoms and whatnot.
You had a problem with Double Dare?
No, I love Double Dare. The show was the tits.
I was more into Wild and Crazy Kids. That was a fun show.
Pretty much anything Nickelodeon put on in the 90s, I'd probably watch it.
I never understood Wild and Crazy Kids.
It was just all about Wild and Crazy Kids.
I mean, it's right there in the title. What did it explain?
And then there was that show, What Would You Do? And it always made me wonder, what would I do?
And then they brought it back in the, a couple years ago, and it kind of got dark sometimes.
So anyway, cartoon.
Anyway, so, way back in the yesteryear of 1991, the year of my birth.
Back in the day when boy bands roamed the earth and grunge was popular.
I like grunge. Kinda.
He didn't get it.
I don't know. Is this another Simpsons reference I'm not getting?
Actually, it's Futurama.
Oh.
Well, it was one of those.
It was Futurama.
Okay.
It was one of those.
Don't question me.
Well, we've got an hour here, and we got a lot of shows to go over, so let's
I feel like arguing for an hour.
Kyle, how many times have I explained to you I have full final edit on all these episodes?
Oh, yeah.
In August of 91, Nickelodeon, I don't know why I just have these long pauses where I forget what I'm saying. They unleashed their first 3 shows, which would later be coined as Nicktoons, and those were Doug, Rugrats, and the Red and Stimpy Show. I guess I guess we should start out like what your guys' personal history with like Nicktoons in general are.
Watched them all the time. I mean, trying to think. I think there really was no other game in town when it came to cartoons that weren't reruns of old Hanna-Barbera cartoons or Looney Tunes stuff.
Yeah, because didn't Cartoon Network only start original programming like the mid-90s?
Yeah, it took a while, because I know when we first got Cartoon Network, I was really excited. And outside of maybe seeing the What a Cartoon show, which, really was original programming, but not necessarily like a series,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it was like Hanna-Barbera stuff. Like, it was awesome to be able to watch SWAT Cats as much as I want, or whenever it was on, but I think other than that, it was just, reruns of shows.
Yeah. Kyle, what about you?
Well, I remember Nickelodeon back in the day used to be like Inspector Gadget and Flipper and like fucking weird shit like that, like Gumby and Tintin, and then they started playing.
There's nothing wrong with Gumby or Flipper or Tintin.
But those are cool. I dig them, but they're not the original programming that we would want. But anyways, yeah, that Doug. I used to watch that shit all the time. Had the beats.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Like, I don't know. I really have a lot of vivid memories from like that time period because, like Doug, Rugrats, Ren, Stimpy, and Rocco, like for some reason my dad and I could really bond over those shows. Like he like fucking loved Ren and Stimpy and Rocco so much that he would like go around like quoting Rocco in his everyday life. And I think it's like now when we go back and we understand all the adult references, I can kind of understand why.
Rocco's Modern Life. I think, I don't know, out of that original show, that's the one I revisited. And
yeah, I need to rewatch that a lot, but I don't know. So the first, I don't know if they aired in any specific order. They all just aired on the same day, but I kind of like I liked Doug back in the day, but looking back on it, I'm not sure why it fascinated me as a kid because it's like so slice of life, and I feel like I should have been really bored by it.
Was it because everyone was different colors?
Maybe the pretty colors caught my small child eye, but
no black people. If I remember.
Mr. Dink was cool.
I figured Skeeter was supposed to be black.
Yeah, I figured.
Why wasn't he black?
I figured Mr. Dink was supposed to be black too.
I did too.
And BB was black.
Why?
Yep.
They were purple?
Yeah,
I figured
basically.
I figured the darker colors were the black people. That's just how I.
Look at Skeeter's dad and tell me he doesn't look like a black man.
No, Skeeter was definitely black. He was the black sidekick to
Yes.
Doug's supreme whiteness.
He was the token black kid to Billy West.
That is weird.
And as a special guest, we actually got Billy West to come and do this podcast right now. So
Kyle, don't bait
let's
people. We don't have Billy West.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kyle knows Billy West.
But yeah, I don't know. Doug is just I don't know.
Doug was a show.
Doug was a show. And I guess I could say the same thing for Rugrats. It's like, it's a show about babies. Why would I watch that show? And then I kind of realized a couple years ago that I was way more interested in what the parents were doing most of the time.
Why?
I don't know.
They were bad parents. Those
were
kids
bad
should
parents.
have been taken away from them.
I don't know. It's I was always more interested in like what they were doing, and then when I got older and realized like half the shit they were saying. Me and Mel watched the Rugrats movie again a couple weeks ago, and they were like making references like about children being tax deductions and all this. Like, no child would understand that.
It's just to a child, that's just typical adult speak. Okay.
It is a typical adult speech, but when you're an adult, it has meaning, and it
Oh yeah,
taxes and having a second mortgage and all that shit.
Rugrats thought you could deal with, real problems, like
problems.
what to do with the boogeyman. Saving
Your mom dying of cancer.
Yeah,
that one
that's
was...
what they had those episodes where it would just get really heavy, and you were like, what the?
And then they were like, hey, let's talk about the Jews for a second.
A second. They had like 3 episodes about Jewish holidays.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of interesting, though, because, I think I learned the most about Passover and...
No, fucking, I learned so much about other religions and cultural shit through Rugrats, because, like, I know what the hell Kwanzaa was.
There's a book on that. It's called What the Hell is Kwanzaa?
What the hell is Kwanzaa?
I believe Kwanzaa Bot hands it out around the holiday.
Yes.
We should just do an episode on Futurama one of these days.
I mean, I can just keep throwing the references. We don't have to do a whole episode.
Alright.
But yeah, I mean, that was the thing. Like, Rugrats was surprisingly a pretty cultural show.
Yeah, like, and I'm actually kind of surprised that they were allowed to be so openly religious. Which, they were religious, like, with the other holidays, but with, like, the Christian holidays, like, Christmas and stuff, all the religious, overtones were, like, almost non-existent. Like, they never mentioned Jesus. It was always Santa, and there's no...
You mean Tommy Pickles wasn't Jesus?
I mean, not inherently. He was a flawed child. And then they grew up and made a really shitty spin-off show.
Oh, God.
They also made a preschool show, apparently. But...
Yeah, and it lasted for like 10 episodes, and everyone decided, like, we should just let the Rugrats die.
Yeah.
I don't know. They kind of, like, I stopped watching it after a point.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I think my dad just let me watch it because it's like, oh, this is a show about kids. It's it's harmless. But there was, I remember this, the episode where Chucky runs away and then, like, basically goes through the whole It's a Wonderful Life storyline where he sees what life is like without him.
Oh, yeah.
I was not allowed to watch that episode because my dad, quote, said it would give me ideas.
Whoa.
It's like, were you really that concerned about me running away?
Yeah.
Did it say anything about your parenting?
Well,
didn't there wasn't the point to
not to run away?
I don't know. I just thought, like, when I grew up, I thought that was hilarious.
What watch did you have?
I don't know. I never had the urge to run away from home. Like, I got it pretty good. Why would I leave this?
I didn't watch the Rugrats too much because I didn't really care for it, to be honest with you. But there were some pretty funny ones. Like, I remember there was the one where the roly-poly died.
Oh, yeah. I got sad.
Episode.
And then there was the one where Spike ran away, and they kept getting new pets, and they got a tarantula.
Why would you give that to a child?
And then
I'm a grown man and I don't want a tarantula.
And then Grandpa killed it like it was no big deal and threw it away. That was the funniest fucking joke.
Thing fucking climbed on him when he was asleep. No, the messed up joke is when, and I seriously want to know what happened after this. They got gerbils. The gerbils got loose and they reproduced, and they apparently reproduced enough to fill up the whole basement.
The entire basement was moving.
How is that possible? How does that work overnight?
I don't even think it was overnight.
It's a cartoon. Why are you questioning this shit?
I'm questioning a show.
Babies are talking.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I'm sure this is a common gripe, and I'm almost certain I brought it in another episode. It seriously bugged me, even as a child, that Angelica could, like, talk to both sides. Like,
she
to
was
adults.
the bridge.
I know, but why does she never translate for them?
I don't know, man.
It's like,
That's
you can
deep
speak.
shit.
You are in the border age where you can speak baby speak and adult speak, which
Because that would have been
Because she was a bitch, okay? She wouldn't help out people.
also she was way too eloquent for a 3-year-old.
Did you
I don't
see
know,
her
and-
mom?
Maybe that's why. But
That's where
seriously,
she learned it.
like, I can understand the babies being as eloquent as they are because, it was from their perspective, but when she speaks adult speak, is like, there's no way you should be this fluent in English already.
You don't know. Maybe you're just a dumb kid.
Ooh.
I was a dumb kid. I am still terrible at math, so I'm a...
Nobody's good at that.
Nerds are good at math.
And then they were like, hey, this show's kind of boring. Let's bring in a little brother. And then I was like, fucking dropped.
I think that might have been a little after the... Actually, I have no idea when the Rugrats movie came out. I saw that shit in theaters, though, and it was the tits.
I was more worried about shit like Pokemon and getting Pokemon cards when I watched the first movie.
Hey, I watched those too.
Not no Rugrats shit.
My life was full of a lot of things. I had time for both of those things. Because I wasn't doing homework, obviously. But... I guess moving on from Rugrats...
one quick funny story, because you guys brought up Pokemon and Rugrats. I remember... Does Nickelodeon still do the Kids' Choice Awards?
I think so.
Yes.
I remember the time they were doing Best Animated Program, and I think this was my first experience with realizing how fixed something like that is.
Yeah.
But the selections for Best Animated Program for kids, chosen by kids, was The Simpsons. It was between The Simpsons, Pokemon, Rugrats, and like 3 other cartoons, and Rugrats won. And I had to stop and think about it. Like, there's no way that could be true.
No, it's not.
Any of those
The
kids
Kids' Choice Award is a facade.
I mean, I know, an award show being a facade, I know that's like really shocking for a lot of people, but...
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember thinking, like, there's no way those kids are going to choose Rugrats over Pokemon.
Nah. You know.
There's adults who would there are adults who would vote for that shit instead.
Yeah, like, they had the answers way before, you know.
I figured that's why they had animated segments prepared.
Right?
For Rugrats one.
Exactly.
You know, I feel like we barely talked about Doug, though. Didn't Doug have a movie?
I
Doug
know, I
did
was
have
going to say, like,
well,
come on
Doug
now.
Doug had a movie after it got bought from Disney, and it was... I don't like to remember that Disney bought Doug and what happened there.
We were like, hey, does Doug have black people? Okay, moving on. Rugrats.
It's just I don't really remember too much about Doug and half of its lifespan.
I remember Doug, okay? Like, they went to Funky Town, and that was their fucking, like, theme park, and they had an awesome Halloween episode.
What was the
That
Halloween?
shit.
Yeah, remind me of the Halloween episode. I don't really remember.
They went to Funky Town, and it was like a haunted house episode, and the shit was, like, horrifying.
Oh, was that like the Threshold of Doom or something is what they called it? I don't know.
think so.
I just remember they had like some... Yeah, I don't know. Doug was kind of interesting. I think the episode I remember the most from Doug just is the one where he was they wanted to go see the horror movie.
Yeah. That one's fucking scary as shit.
Oh yeah, when Doug has one of his trademark fantasies, and then it's Skeeter's bike comes alive, grabs him, and drives itself off a cliff with him in it.
Oh,
Isn't that like a Freddy Krueger reference though?
It's just a reference to this nightmare in general, because then like a telephone, like a stoplight thing comes alive and it starts walking on its wires.
Oh god, I remember this now.
Like,
It's all coming back to me.
Shady's having flashbacks.
I am. It's like... Never mind. I was going to make a really bad, insensitive reference, but, you know.
I remember he found a fossil and it turned out to be like a pot roast bone or something like that.
Yeah, because they spent how much money... But the only thing about Doug is that everything ended up working out in the end. That's what... that was the only
It
motive.
made you feel good at the end of the day.
Judy was like an arts major.
Yeah,
She was in theater.
Oh, it was something. She was working like in a college, even though she probably wasn't in college. I don't fucking remember.
She was trying to be an actress. She had that really goofy ass beret.
Yeah, I wonder where that kid came from.
And
then they had in the Disney series, they had a little sister named Dirtbike.
who names their
Cleopatra Dirtbike.
Who lets them name their kids Dirtbike?
They said name the kid, and they got in a fight, and they were like, okay, well, we're naming it this.
You know, another little hilarious anecdote. Shauna had locked her computer a long time ago when she lived at home, and we were joking about like stupid names for cartoon characters, and the password she chose for her computer is one nobody would ever think of, and it was Dirtbug.
That's kind of awesome.
And it's like, man, who the fuck would figure that out? Nobody.
And now I can steal all of Shauna's secrets.
Well, it was an old password.
Damn.
She picked an equally obscure cartoon sibling.
Oh.
Or
Moose.
I hated that show so much.
Yeah. Who's that girl? What's her name?
Go fuck yourself. Let's play that game.
And then he went to make Kids Next Door, which was also equally terrible.
I don't know. A lot of people get really uppity if you talk bad about KNC.
I won't get mad, but I did enjoy it.
I just don't get how they got Guar to do a song on that show.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
Like you do. Anyway, Kids Next Door isn't a Nicktoon.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, about Doug.
I like Doug. I don't know. I like how the mayor was your typical, like, he was like basically a less sleazy version, a slightly less sleazy version of Mayor Joe Quimby.
Yeah.
Basically.
And then Roger, I don't know, like, watching it now, you can really see how fucking autistic Doug is. Like,
Oh, no, he
hate
totally
to say
is.
it. And, like, you look at Roger, and he's not even really a bad guy. He's, like,
I mean, he was still
Not
a
even-
dick.
he's not even, like, an asshole. He's just, I don't know how to explain it. He's just not that bad of a guy.
But man, could he wear a leather jacket?
I think Kyle
Oh,
just,
yeah.
like, really...
I identify with Roger.
I mean, we paint you green, you're basically him already.
I have the red hair. The
Kyle,
only thing is, I never became rich, so I'm still
No.
waiting on that.
Kyle, I want you to be Roger for Halloween now.
That would be pretty awesome.
We'll paint you green like Blanca from Street Fighter, and you'll be all set. And then he had that weird-ass cat,
Oh, Stinky.
Stinky the cat. And he always had a fight with Porkchop, and that was a fucking... What is wrong with Jim Jenkins?
Did he ever do anything else?
He made a show for Disney.
Was it Disney's Doug?
No, it was this, like, kids... it was about otters.
Oh, PB&J Honor?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, damn.
That was
With
what
Doodle Dance?
Yeah, there you go.
Some kid was some kid was talking. I remember when I first learned what that was when I was babysitting some kid, and he's like, "We'll do the noodle dance." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Little kids and their
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess. How do you do this?"
the Wiggles. Are those still a thing?
I think so.
Why?
Popular with kids. Kids are idiots. They'll like anything.
That's true.
Look at us.
So what about Ren and Stimpy?
Ren and Stimpy was my faves.
Your faves.
I watched it on Snick when Snick was the thing. That was Saturday night, Nick.
I miss programming blocks. I really do.
Yeah, and you were like, hey, let's do an episode about it. And we never did. Because we're organized.
Yeah, we think of these episodes like an hour before we do these.
Excuse you, this was like 3 hours.
Alright, fair enough. But Kyle, tell us about Ren and Stimpy.
So, the first episode I ever watched was the Haunted House one. And that's probably, like, the worst one to ever watch. Because there was the Bloody Head Fairy, and since it was, like, the premiere of it...
I believe it was the Severed Head Fairy.
Yes. So it was like, since it was the premiere of it, it wasn't edited or anything, so I got to see that in its full glory. And a bunch of haunting imagery, and a fucking suicidal ghost that actually kills himself, but becomes alive. And he becomes a giant fat black guy that's naked. And it was the funniest fucking thing I had ever seen, and it's still pretty funny.
It was
But-
the most I ever threw up.
And it changed my life forever. But, no, like, my parents didn't want me watching Ren and Stimpy either, and that's cool and everything, but when I went to other people's houses, there was no rules like that. So I gotta watch that shit good. But no, it was great. As much as people hate on John Kay, because I know there's a lot of people. I know there's a specific guy that really doesn't like him. But you can't say...
Are you that guy, Kyle?
No.
Okay.
But let's just say same name.
Anyway.
Anyways, you can't really you can't really have modern animation without John Kay, because I think he really contributed a lot to it.
Well, I think the thing is, a lot of people just complain because John Kay is very critical, but I think people kind of forget that that's kind of a big part of being an artist. I mean, some people are just more outspoken than others, and John Kay is one of those people.
Well, they're like, what? You talk shit about Animaniacs? No, I don't fucking like John Kay. Fuck John Kay. And it's like, okay. Like, that's what it seems like. Oh, he dissed my favorite show? Fuck this artist. I don't like this guy anymore. It's
Differing
like,
opinions. What?
I know. Like, that's a thing? What?
It's getting real political in there.
But anyways, I think it was great. Premise, it was always just like, hey, two guys are doing shit. Funny shit happens.
Hilarity ensues.
Basically. And that's like the easiest setup, and it's so good. Like, I don't want to say it like this, but it's very close to classic cartoons where you can put Bugs Bunny in any situation and then, you know, here he is on Mars, and this is what happens, and that's kind of what Ren and Stimpy was at the time, just more like a modern thing. Lots of slapstick. I don't know. I fucking loved it as a kid, and I still love it.
I think it's fair.
I think it's pretty much spot on because, I mean, think about it. I mean, every like new Looney Tunes episode, there was no continuity. For some reason, someone would have a different job, or
Yeah, exactly.
like for some reason they'd be lumberjacks. Another one, they would for some reason be homeless. Another house, another one, they would have a home.
Now, I will say that I don't remember like too much about the plots of the Ren and Stimpy show, but for some reason all the songs they did are like forever ingrained into my skull.
How could you ever get happy Joe?
Like, no, because these like the first handful of Nicktoons like are the shows that me and my dad watched together, and Ren and Stimpy was one that he really enjoyed, and so like I'd be in my room, and just from his room where he had his computer, I would just start hear like Happy Joy Joy or Don't Whiz on the Electric Fence just blaring from his room.
Oh, yeah. So that's one of my favorite fucking episodes, is where you meet his cousin, where you see Ren's cousin, and he's like,
Sven?
no, it was his cousin, and like,
Sven Hoek?
yeah, and he was just so dumb, and like, him and Stimpy got along together, and there's just a bit where they're playing with litter, and they censor the whole thing. They're in a closet door, and he's like, "This is private," and then they shut the door, and then he's like, "Look, I'm a juggler," and you hear him like doing all this stuff, and they're obviously playing with cat shit, and it's so funny. But like we see all these Flash animators using like silly faces like Oni and all that, and I want to say like a lot of the faces, or at least stuff like that, contorting whatever, you gotta give Ren and Stimpy some credit.
I think a lot of modern people are inspired by Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, well, I mean, like, SpongeBob's really inspired by Ren and Stimpy.
Definitely.
The close-up shots, like, they were,
hyper-detailed close-ups.
Yeah, I know we're probably, like, talking way too much on this shit, but,
Cool.
What two-parters are for?
yeah. But, no, it was cool because I think it was like 2-3 years ago, they were having Spike and Mike's Animation Festival, and they had John Kay, and then they had Billy West, and it was pretty cool to listen how shit was ran. Because if you guys don't know, John Kay was fired from Ren and Stimpy after I think the first season or something. He was let go of the show, and there were different showrunners and stuff. And I know like Bill Ray ran it for a while. I think he was like a painter, background painter or something. But I know he did a lot of stuff for it. He also worked on Mad Magazine, which I liked. But no, it's cool. Like it was neat to see these kind of stuff, learn about it, whatever. But I like the show. Fuck it. That's my spiel. Whatever.
Fair enough.
I don't care.
I feel bad because my parents were pretty much perfectly okay with watching Ren and Stimpy. Like, they never really had any issues with me watching any of that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure my dad, much like most people's parents, thought that was hilarious.
Andy, were you like me, and were you just basically raised by the television?
No, well, yeah, but I don't know. I think I was, and I kind of wasn't. But more so, I don't know, my older sister really thought Ren and Stimpy was funny, and it was just kind of a family thing.
Oh, good. I enjoy that.
Then my dad, I had to go see Jason Goes to Hell in theaters. My brother wanted to go see it, and there was nowhere else I could go.
Okay.
That was a weird experience. I don't even remember the fucking movie.
Oh, Lord.
Not a very good.
I was raised on a Super Nintendo.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's pretty good childhood there.
Motor skills are high.
Right. So, not to hurry us along, but
Stop rushing me!
oh, I'm sorry, Andy. I'm not. I don't mean to, but
Let's talk about Doug some more.
can we
So,
talk?
Doug.
Can we talk about Rocco instead?
Oh, okay. That works.
Rocco, because as Kyle so eloquently stated about Ren and Stimpy, Rocco is my favorite.
There you go.
Rocco's Modern Life was created by Joe Murray.
Yeah.
He also actually appeared on the show as himself, and he is hideous looking.
Wait, wasn't he the big head's son?
No, I think I was
Also that, but he was saying you're off model.
He actually shows up in the show as himself.
Oh.
I know I saw a drawing of Joe Murray.
It was one of those. It was one of those episodes where it was like Wizard of Oz, where they're like, "And you were there, and you were there," and he's like, "I don't know who you were," and he's like, "You're off model, Kangaroo Boy," and just walks out. They're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, it's hilarious. Rocco's Modern Life was kind of I want to say it was on the same level of Ren and Stimpy in terms of bizarre humor, but the biggest thing that I want to say they did, they tried to, it was kind of like Doug fused with Ren and Stimpy, because it was trying to almost do slice of life style stuff, because it was about Rocco, who was a wallaby, moved from Australia to America, and it's about him basically trying to make it through life, but of course his best friend is a steer, and his other best friend is a turtle. And it's just such a weird series of events, and I don't know, I can't even begin to explain. But much like Ren and Stimpy, every episode would have a seemingly mundane thing, like him trying to get to work, and then it would turn into him having to go to the DMV and he had to watch Red Asphalt and stuff like that, and it was it went off the rails so much.
Don't get the fat guy.
Yeah. Is that the fat guy? No. Going to the beach, typical experience, and it ends up with him having to rescue his dog by infiltrating a nude beach, and he had to take sensor bars with him. They actually passed out sensor bars. It was very similar slapstick kind of meta humor with cartoons.
It was weird because here you have shows like Doug and Rugrats. This is obviously made for kids, whatever. And then you go to something like Rocco, and he's got his own house, he's got his own car, he's got his own job. And I always felt that was kind of weird in that sense, because you're dealing with kids, and this guy's obviously an adult, but it was still relatable as kind of weird as that was. I don't know. I don't know, man.
I think it's kind of in the sense that it's relatable for both kids and adults, because you do have all these modern, just almost mundane average things that are going on that adults can relate to, but it's handled in such it's just handled so insanely how they get into predicaments and stuff that all the fast motion all that stuff would appeal to kids.
So here's a bit of trivia, I guess, but
Trivia me.
I guess Murray was working for MTV at the time or something, and he was doing promos for them, animated promos. And I guess one of them was a cow, and they liked it a lot, so he had put heifer in the show from this cow. And then another thing was it's the whole Dr. Hutchinson story. People were they were like really bugging him that there wasn't a strong female character on the show. As weird as that sounds, because it sounds
Bev
like today.
Bighead was a very strong woman.
Yes.
She was very sexually active. She was not afraid to want things. She had a job at one point, and she actually chose to quit her job because she realized how moronic and helpless her husband was without her. She actually has kind of an interesting character arc, really.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of a weird thing to remember.
So I heard he kept getting bothered about it, and he wanted to bring in Rocco's sister. That was something he had always wanted to do, but these people kept bugging him, and he's like, nah, fuck this. So I guess an exec said that you need to make a strong female character with a hook. So it was like, that was what they said, keyword, and he's like, okay, fuck it, and he like literally gave her a hook. And that's what had happened.
I love Dr. Hutchinson.
Oh, God.
I'm surprised you guys haven't heard that story.
Oh.
The story sounds vaguely familiar. I will say, I've read Joe and Murray put out a book a while back about like how he started in the animation industry and like how to handle the business and stuff. If you haven't read it, I'd highly suggest seeking it out because it's a really good read and there's a lot of background details about how Rocco was started and some Camp Lazlo stuff in there and like interviews with other animators. But yeah.
Another good story was, I forgot how I found out about this, but they were like, oh, we're having an anniversary party in LA. You can buy tickets, whatever. I think it was something off of Cartoon Brew, actually. And it was all the voice actors from Rocco, special guests, all this stuff in a rented out theater. And they were playing clips, and they had the voice actors talking.
Deli?
What's up?
Did they play Wacky Deli?
They didn't play Wacky Deli. They did a whole fucking script read of it.
Oh, wow.
Like the whole episode. It's actually, if you buy the DVD set, I guess they filmed the whole thing.
Okay, I'm going to go to Amazon then.
But they had the guys from Phineas and Ferb, Marsh and Pavemeier.
Oh yeah, they worked on that.
And they were in, and they were talking about how they were trying to get a musical down. And they kept bugging him for a musical, and they wanted to call it, I forget what, Zanzibar. That's what it was. And that was the whole recycling episode.
Oh.
It's just called Zanzibar for no reason. But they had wrote every bit of the songs, and I think that was cool. They actually brought in acoustic guitar and played the recycle song and stuff.
That's awesome.
Like, that shit was so cool, and it was, Rob Paulson was emceeing, and I don't know, it was a good time. I wish they would do something like that again. I like going to special events.
That does sound like
Yeah, I would totally have gone to that. I feel really bad that I wouldn't have probably gone to that.
The only thing I'm pissed off about was I was unemployed at the time. I didn't really have money, and I really wanted to buy a money so I could get everybody to sign and draw and all this kind of shit on it, and I never did, and that really bothers me.
Life is full of regret.
Yeah, because that was a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Regret.
Anyways,
Yeah.
what about you guys? How
I
did you guys deal with it?
I just really loved Rocko's Modern Life. I remember I was struggling. It got me through a really difficult time when I was struggling. I am terrible at math, as I'm sure most people are.
Yeah.
The one thing keeping me from finishing my degree out at community college was math. And I just remember I had to pull like an all-nighter to get all this stuff done to really... And I just stayed up and watched Rocko's Modern Life on Netflix. And for some reason, it just really helped get me through that. And I just have really fond memory of the show, and it's amazing to me. It's another one of those things, like, I know we talked about how, like, Rugrats, I don't know, I can't go back and watch that. Like, it doesn't come back, but Rocko's Modern Life actually aged extremely well for a 90s cartoon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can go back now, and it's, I definitely think it holds up.
it's still funny. The references are still hilarious. Like, everything about it is just still funny, and it's just kind of hilarious to consider that Carlos Alazzacari ended up going to being on Reno 911. It's so weird to see what he looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hear him as Rocco.
Yeah, that's...
There's such an insane level. Like, the show, like you said, it was relatable, but it was also completely batshit insane because Dr. Hutchinson's, has a hook for a hand and her mother has 2 hooks.
I think it was like all the cats in the show had hooks for hands or something like that.
Those 2, and there would always be a pun about cutting because she had a new job. Every episode they would run into her.
Yeah.
And that's a good indicator of a strong female character. She can go from one job to another. One episode she's a neurosurgeon, the next episode she is performing surgery.
And she had like a tick. Or she
Yeah.
would crack her head back.
Yeah.
She was adorable. I loved her.
Oh.
I don't know who did her voice, but I really liked her voice.
I love that.
Let's look it up.
Well, while you look that up, what else was on our list? Do either of you remember Off Real Monsters?
I remember it being one of those shows that I would watch. I kind of remember, and now it's another one of those 90s things that I'm surprised to see people, like, all excited when you see merchandise of it.
Yeah, that's,
I think that was one of the few shows that actually worked with Kolaski Kasupo's disgusting...
right. I definitely agree. Like, Rugrats, like, everyone looked really fucking odd, but then, like, in Real Monsters, like, okay, they're supposed to look really odd.
I have this like really favorite story about them, but it's not directly towards them. But we used to have this arcade in the mall, and it was pretty awesome. You win tickets, you get like real toys and shit. And I used to get these real toys and be like, nah, and then go to KB's like across the way. I would take them back and then get real monster toys, because those toys were so fucking cool. They were like gross out, nasty toys, and I fucking loved them. You guys never had those as kids?
I was not even aware they made merchandise of that show.
Yeah.
I know they made a video game that was okay.
I remember the video game. Was it like the Vikings game?
It was
like
very
gameplay?
similar to Lost Vikings.
Okay.
Very similar, where you had to use each monster's ability. It was an interesting... It was another one of those shows that, like, it kind of was relatable because you know what it's like, because it was about these monsters in scare school. It was kind of like a precursor to Monsters, Inc. almost.
Yeah, now that you say that is kind of true.
I mean, obviously, they didn't live in the sewers and use toilets to transport each around.
Okay, that I actually really thought that was a clever idea.
Oh, no,
It was like, yeah, it also kind of made me afraid to take a dump, but for a while.
Because might bite you in the dick?
Maybe. I was more afraid of the snake chick, whatever.
Oh, Oblina?
Yeah, because she's like, I could see that fitting through a toilet.
Well, that and her name, voiced by, Kat Susi?
Yeah, Cat Sorsey.
So, is that how you pronounce her name?
I thought it was Sorsey.
I don't know. She had, like, a very strange voice. Maybe
it is Susie, I don't know.
But I don't know. Who could forget about the most important character on the show, their teacher?
The Grumble?
I thought it was the Grumble.
Yeah, it was the Grumble.
Okay.
Uh,
one of the first transgendered characters, I think, in animation.
As a kid, I was confused by that, and then now I'm an adult, I was like, how did they get away with doing that?
I think it was just they lived in a dump. That was the only shoes he could find, and he just wore them.
But he found 4 pairs.
And he's just very effeminate.
Well, I remember...
Long fingernails, lips, big red lips.
I remember they, they snuck into his bedroom or something, and he had, a wall full of shoes.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Clearly he had some sort of lust for... The Grumble was their teacher, and who was he voiced by? Was it?
I think it was Charlie Adler.
It was
okay, yeah. Because it was Charlie Adler doing Charlie Adler's, typical voice that he does and everything, but it's so perfect you can't really tell him otherwise.
Right.
But yeah, he was based on this weird... Just look up the Grumble. I can't even explain. It was this weird,
He's got a giant red nose.
And-
giant red nose with like a needle sticking out of it, claws, and it looked kind of like had like slug eyes, like on a stalk, if I remember right, and then it was like a centaur.
And that's the thing I can really say for this show is that like
Oh, the creature design was
all the creature designs, every single one of them were like really imaginative and
like,
very unique. Like fucking Crumb like has to carry his own eyeballs around.
I'm surprised they got away with Crumb in a sense, because Crumb, that's Conan's god.
Right.
But, I'm surprised they got away with Crumb because it's like he was pretty much just like a walking ass.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He looked
With armpits.
Yeah, he was a walking dimpled ass with armpits, with eyes and a giant mouth.
Basically.
And it's like he really was the most imaginative of, I think, all the monsters I can remember. He was definitely the one I remember the most. Who did his voice? It was pretty good from what I remember.
I don't remember. I mean, out of any
He
of...
had the most normal voice. That was the thing. Like,
Yeah, who did Crumb's voice? I don't
I'm
know.
looking it up right now.
Yeah, Kyle, research
yeah,
it.
Our Real Monsters was interesting. I kind of want to watch it again because I almost think it's one of those shows that maybe now you can kind of appreciate it.
Yeah, I think... Yeah.
I wasn't too much into gross out humor as a kid, so like I didn't really get to it. I watched it, I know that much, but I didn't really. Like,
Well, it was kind of cool because they had like a monster hunter in the show, and he was like, "What's up?"
Oh yeah, I remember him. I was just agreeing.
Oh yeah, and Tim Curry was in this show.
I thought he was.
Wait, who was Tim Curry?
I didn't watch the show enough to like remember. It says Crumb was voiced by David Eccles, and he doesn't have like anything. It was Zimbo was. It was the bee monster.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
Jim Belushi was the monster hunter. No, there was this monster called the Snorch, and he was like the Grumble's like muscle almost. He was this really big monster in a dress, and then he had a bee, like a parrot on him, and the bee would talk, and that was Tim Curry.
Nice.
I remember now. I just can't put a voice to it.
That's wow. Tim Curry really was everywhere in the '90s.
He was in Muppet Treasure Island.
He
Yes,
sure was. I miss Tim Curry being in things.
Oh, they're showing a picture of Crumb's dad, and he's missing one eye. Like the hand there's nothing in it,
Oh god,
and he has a mustache. It's fucking awesome.
that is pretty awesome.
Should probably revisit it.
Yeah, I think I might have to revisit Real Monster.
Oh,
I think that might be my pick for one to read. I think out of all the cartoons, that's the one I don't know the most out. Like, I watched it. That's the thing. I know I watched it a lot, but I don't remember much about it.
Same here. Like, I used to watch it all the time as a kid, especially around Halloween time, but I don't remember shit about it, to be honest.
Granted, I think all those cartoons had really catchy theme songs.
I don't remember the theme song.
It was just a lot of, like, crazy classic Kasupo-esque noises.
Yeah. Did Mark Mothersbaugh do it?
I couldn't tell you.
I bet you he did.
He does everything.
He's amazing, and he's in Devo.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I like
Oh, yeah,
Mark
classic
I will fight you.
Made up of Devo?
What's up?
Aren't members of Classic Kasupo in Devo? Or aren't...
I thought it was just Mark Mothersbaugh who did the music.
Okay, I don't know. I thought there was, like, a tie.
Oh, no, it was just Mark Mothersbaugh. He does, like, a lot of cartoon, bullshit.
He did...
He scores music, or he scores movies and stuff like that. He did, a few things in Yo Gabba Gabba, but that's because Bat Commander and him are friends.
Dude, I was watching... I finally watched those 21 Jump Street movies, and apparently did the music for those.
Actually,
That's pretty funny.
I only watched the first one, but I thought it was pretty hilarious.
Oh, I love those movies. Those are hilarious.
Channing Tatum doing what he does best, acting like a doof.
I like when Channing Tatum's actually funny.
Oh, me too. He was great in Book of Life.
Oh, I need to watch that again.
Just being, I don't know. He was an interesting character, that one.
But will he be a good Ghostbuster?
Honestly,
he's the secretary.
No, that's Hemsworth.
Oh, right.
Thor. Like, that's the only casting choice besides Melissa McCarthy. I'm like, okay, this could actually kind of be decently funny.
Yeah.
So he scored Crash Bandicoot,
Oh, yeah.
and he also scored Dumb and Dumber.
The cartoon? Oh, the movie.
No, the actual movie.
Oh.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well,
Damn, he did Crash Bandicoot all the way up to Wrath of Cortex, the third one.
Nice.
And Jack and Daxter.
Oh, damn.
And regular show. But anyways.
But I digress.
Yeah.
So, you got 10 minutes left here. You guys want to talk about the last show for this week?
What is the last show?
Kablam!
Oh, yeah.
That show didn't age so well for me.
No, but I will admit, out of...
Prometheus and Bob was a standout.
I love Prometheus. No, it's funny that I wanted to do Nicktoons today, because I was watching CinemaSins earlier. And at the end of every episode, they do like a... whatever movie they were doing, mash up with clips and stuff. And one of the things was for Action League now is like, the Flesh, she's super strong and super naked. Like, God, I want to watch Kablam again now.
Well, you know what pissed me off, though? I really wanted a Sniz and Fondue cartoon. Like, so bad.
Yeah. Like, it is kind of weird that of all the shows that
Yeah.
actually got a spin-off, it was Action League now.
Yeah.
Probably because it was
care
dirt
for
cheap
that.
to make.
Well, yeah.
I remember.
The best character in Action League now for me was the mayor.
Yeah.
I like to melt, man, with the incredible power to melt.
I mean, just what an ingenious idea for a villain, just the mayor.
He's the man. Best character was the narrator.
Oh, yeah.
I remember watching Good Burger in theaters, and they had like an Action League Now short, and it had Kiss action figures were in it.
Yeah, Kiss, they are businessmen in that sense. Gene Simmons ended up having his own cartoon later.
Oh, my dad, the rock star.
That terrible shit.
Yeah, he just produced it because he thought it would make him money.
Oh, God, that shit was awful.
If I was famous, I'd sell out like a motherfucker, but that's just me.
But, so if for anyone who doesn't remember what Kablam was, it was basically this...
Comic book?
It was presented like as a comic book, like the two hosts and quotey fingers of the show, like Henry and June, would just like they'd flip comic book pages for you, and it would flip. It was basically like what's the word I'm looking for? An anthology.
It was a variety show.
Yeah, it was a variety show basically, where you'd get a bunch of quick cartoon shorts, and
They were the frame, as you would say.
basic, yeah.
It was an interesting idea. I mean, some of the cartoons were pretty good, actually.
Yeah,
The offbeats. The only thing that was terrible, the only fucking thing that was awful, I think it was Angela Anaconda was on there, wasn't it?
I think it was on there only one episode.
Yeah, and then Fox Kids bought
Fox Family got a...
What was the other one that was like stop motion? Because I
Life
kind of
it. Life with Loopy.
I did kind of dig Life with Loopy.
Life with Loopy was hilarious.
That one was interesting in the sense of how it was made. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I really liked it. Like the bodies were, 3-dimensional puppets, but all like the heads and the hands were completely flat.
It was an interesting... I remember I watched, Nickelodeon had, one of those behind-the-scene things during a commercial break, and it was really interesting to watch. I think it was made by a woman, actually.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, it was really interesting to see how they, would animate the show.
Yeah.
The plan was pretty good, though. I think I didn't care much for the host segments, but I really enjoyed a lot of the, like Prometheus and Bob, the stuff.
The best.
Prometheus Bob, I think, is just so timeless. Like even today, it's just a fucking alien trying to educate a caveman, and all of his attempts are thwarted by a monkey.
Oh, it was just funny because there was no voice.
It was squawks and grunts.
Yeah, grunts. They really didn't go. It was the epitome of almost like black and white humor, basically.
Basically,
the old school black and white, almost physical comedy.
Yeah, it was just like every week Prometheus is trying to teach a new skill to Bob, and it just keeps jump cutting to different things every time.
Because like they'd be teaching like bowling, and it would end up with them having to run away from a T-Rex because the monkey did something that enraged a T-Rex while they were learning to bowl because Bob did it.
It's, I don't know, Prometheus Bob was just like, it showed how much you can tell with so very little.
Yeah.
Because no one talks, hardly anything actually happens, but like, just fucked up shit happens.
It was an enjoyable little cartoon.
I loved it.
I think that for me was the big standout of Goodland.
That was always my favorite. I think that and Action League now were tied.
I didn't care for that, to be honest with you.
I don't know, Action League was just so fucking absurd that I found it funny.
I like the intro for Action League now more than the show itself.
It sounds about right, yeah.
Mostly
I can agree to that.
I don't know.
Action League now.
Action League now. And like, I think Action League got the most viewing. That's probably why they spun it off, because I think they would go back to it like 3 times during the episode.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be like their version of a serial.
Yeah.
Their Flash Gordon. And I think it's just funny how a shipwreck figure from G.I. Joe was Stinky Diver.
Stinky Diver.
Yeah. Do you guys remember, it was like a shitty little cartoon called The Offbeats that they used to do all the time on there, too?
I always
Really
hated
vaguely.
that cartoon. They always played on Snicks. They got Snick. Their Saturday Night Block always had this thing called a Snick Snack, which was basically a short, like, cartoon that they would throw in, and it would always be the Offbeats. It sucked so badly. Like, I never found it funny.
Yeah, I liked how they did the chowder thing almost, where it was the backgrounds moved with the characters or whatever their color was.
Yeah, they put a texture on it and it just moves over the texture, which I still have no idea how Chowder does that.
It's like, just a animation. Well, if it's an animation cell, it's transparent, and then it goes on whatever background it is. So it's multi-layered. It's
pretty sweet. I'll give it that.
There were some pretty awful shorts on there, though, like The Adventures of Patchhead.
I don't think I remember that. Let's see.
I know there's a lot of them that... There was one that I watched... Oh, God, I can't even remember what it was. It was really fucking ugly. It was about this kid. He had, like, braces, and I think he was, like, trying to get out of school or something. Oh, God, this is gonna bug the living shit out of me now.
There were definitely some... I mean, in a sense, it was kind of cool that they would let, these random shorts on there, but in another sense, it's like some of them were just really, really bad. Really, really bad.
Yeah. I'm reading the Wikipedia for Kablam. Apparently in '98 they wanted to make a Prometheus and Bob movie.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad that didn't happen. I would have fucking wanted to go see that.
That's hilarious. I would have, like... I watched Prometheus and Bob do stupid shit for an hour and a half with no talking.
I would watch it. I mean, have that be a short in the beginning of Nickelodeon movies.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be perfect.
I would like, watch an anthology show or movie from Nickelodeon. That'd be kind of cool.
I would just watch Prometheus and Bob.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the 90s without mentioning this.
What?
Do you guys remember Stick Stickly?
I love Stick Stickly.
Nick in the Afternoon.
That was the best shit ever, to be honest.
I love that.
And you could write to his P.O. box.
You could write, and he would read your fan mail.
And they even brought him back, like, pretty recently, but how long did that last?
Okay, so in the trailer for Nickelodeon's new channel, The Splat, there is a brief shot of Stick Stickly, so I'm really hoping that they bring him back.
I think
that would be pretty sweet.
I would love that so much. But yeah, that was some stuff.
Should we talk about Doug some more?
I think we've talked Doug enough.
Oh, okay.
So, if it's cool with you guys, and I guess with the audience as well, maybe we should make this a two-parter, because we only really got halfway through the 90s so far.
It was a long era.
It was a good era. There's a lot of good stuff, and maybe one show that we might skip because it was dumb and I don't remember it.
Pelswick?
Pelswick was in 2000.
Oh.
That is past our dates.
Okay, then.
Jeez, settle down, JD.
God.
I'm sorry, I got real defensive.
Don't talk about it!
Sounded just like him.
Oh, yeah, I mean, right? So do you guys have anything else to add before we close out to this week?
The 90s were a strange time for cartoons, but it was a wondrous time.
Yeah. We should do a counterpart two-parter for Cartoon Network someday.
I think we
I'm
Or
down.
immediately after.
We can talk about SWAT Cats and Tasmania. But
Was
I feel like in October we should talk about Halloween shit.
Oh, dude, yes, let's totally do that.
Because
I want to review Book of Life and Paranorman, because I love those movies.
What about like Nightmare Before Christmas, or Scary Godmother, the other great Halloween?
We don't talk about Scary Godmother.
hey, guys, really quick before we cut it off, funny thing. When I was in my graphic design course at Marist, they had a lady from the American Academy of Art come in, and they were trying to say, like, all these great artists, they came from Chicago. Alex Ross. And I'm like, yeah, Alex Ross is pretty awesome. I could go to the school that did him. And the creator of Scary Godmother. Okay. Not sure how I feel about it. But then she had reference books. She had, like, books of what they did. The book for Scary Godmother is actually not, like, terrible.
No, it looks pretty good.
Like, the artwork is actually really funny and endearing. Like, it's just the fact that they turned it into a really ugly, hideous 3D animated show on a budget.
A low-budget 3D movie, yeah.
Like, really bad.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, this isn't gonna destroy anybody's concept of going here.
Oh, God. Well, I think that's about it for this week. What do you
No,
guys-
let's talk some more.
You want to talk about Doug?
Yeah.
It's not done. I'm not interested.
Oh, God. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening to the podcast this week. We really appreciate your time. Like I said at the beginning of the show, if you enjoyed this, please share it with your friends or whoever, your grandma, if she's into cartoons. That's cool.
Also, feel free to hit me up. I currently am in charge of the Twitter. I really, if you have any questions, anything you want to have for the show, hit me up.
Legit.
I'm happy. I try to check it every day. I want to bring the viewers in, ask us questions. We'll bring them on the show. If you have ideas for things you'd like to hear us talk about, I mean, anything, hit us up on Twitter. I know Tumblr's kind of a pain in the ass.
No, I'd be down for every couple, maybe once a month or maybe every once in a while, just dedicating a podcast to just a Q&A segment.
Just anything. We want to make this a fun. We don't want. I personally, I'm not sure about Kyle because he hates everybody.
Yeah.
But I would like to make this a pretty audience inclusive show. Let's bring the people in. I don't want it to just be three talking heads when we could possibly get some feedback from the audience.
I agree. So I think that just about does it for this week. You can find the links to all our social media pages in the description. There's Facebook and Tumblr and Twitter and Instagram. And there's links to our personal pages if you'd like to follow us there. So thanks for listening. We'll see you again on Monday for our news show, and then next Wednesday where we'll talk about more Nicktoons. So say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
I ain't falling for that.